Ladies and gentlemen, just like the Ravens, the Orioles broke me.
Big town sport, yeah, we run the O's talk. Best of Baltimore, yeah, you know we don't stop. If you rock with the birds, hit subscribe right now. Orange and black, we leading the crowd.
I mean, what else can you say, right? I've prided myself on being the guy that has been overly positive on this team and always trying to find a way to bring some light to this team, some kind of way to make you think that, yeah, they are going to be good. I believe for a really long time that this was a good team and they were going to eventually turn it around. The Angels series kind of made me start like tinkering on being broke. This tonight, I mean, against the White Sox, and the White Sox they're playing good baseball, but are they a good baseball team? They don't even know yet, right? They're just having a good month, right? We don't even know if they're a good team yet. And we just look like we don't even want to be there. And look, I'm not coming on here tonight, and I'm not going to sit here and just bash people in the front office and bash the coaching staff and bash the players right now. Because look, everybody else is doing it right now. I've made ties with the team. I don't want to blow any of that stuff. But I'm broke. Like there's no other way to sell it. And there has to be a major shakeup, in my opinion. There's no way around it at this point. I mean, the players just aren't doing anything right now. I mean, Basayo gets on, maybe start a rally here in the bottom of the eighth. Lodi Taveras grounds into a double play. Like that's just been the tale of the season for the Orioles this year. It's been rough to watch, man. They can't get anything going. Trey Gibson, and this is the worst part. Trey Gibson is our number one pitching prospect. Now he's shown a couple flashes here and there, but for the most part, he's been pretty much shelled all year. Now he had pretty limited innings in AAA. I mean, same with Anthony Nunez, and they were kind of rushed here, maybe for some injury reasons and whatnot, but they were rushed here. They started okay, and they're not here now. And Trey Gibson won't be here tomorrow. Our savior, Dean Kramer, will be back tomorrow. But a lot of this falls on the players. A lot of it does. I mean, you're talking, we're on our third manager since 2024. Third, right? You're on nine hitting coaches now, I think it is. Either way, it's 3 different sets of hitting coaches. One of those sets are with the White Sox right now, by the way. Sherman Johnson and Ryan Fuller. So maybe it wasn't their fault. Maybe it's time we don't blame the coaches. I think you fully got to hold the players accountable. And look, we listened to Alvarez last night talk about how they're dealing with some outside noise and whatnot, and he walked it back today before the game, obviously because somebody came downstairs and told him to do that. But this is the second time we've heard that. Brandon Hyde kind of mentioned the same things, like, what in the hell is going on with this team? For all this weird little in the media bullshit that we keep hearing about, excuse my French, little shots are taken here and there and things are kind of walked back, and it's brutal, man. It's brutal. It seems like everything's broken. And I don't even know what to say. They've broken me. Potentially the most positive Orioles fan out there that many of you probably know. And look, am I still going to go to games? Am I still going to watch? Yeah. But I think my expectations are finally shot in the foot. Like I'm not going to sit here and say this team probably does have a chance. They better go win 20 straight games somehow. Pull a money ball Oakland A's and win 20 straight games. That's what it's going to take to get majority of this fan base back. Now, I've got some free tickets to finish the season and whatnot, and I'm going to go to games because, hey, it's free, and I still like baseball. I'm not going to just not watch, but, it's just look, let's look at tonight's lineup. And this is where I say that a lot of this kind of starts to fall on the players a little bit. And I'm not saying the players suck. I'm just saying something that they're doing isn't working, whether that be because of something from above that's coming down or something around this entire umbrella is not working. But Gunnar Henderson, 2nd round pick, we assume and we think that he's a very damn good player, right? Because he's shown it in his career at some point. struggling real bad right now. With 717 OPS. That's terrible. Taylor Ward, and Gunner was a second-round pick. Taylor Ward, good ball player in this league. Not fantastic by any means, but a good ball player, right? Hitting 250 with a 732 OPS. It's about league average, honestly. Making $13 million a year. Dylan Beavers was a first-round pick. Now, granted, just coming back from injury and whatnot, I think Dylan shows some promise, but hell, I mean, half these guys showed promise coming up. So, I mean, what can you really think, you know? But 230, 672 OPS. Now, granted, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt a little bit because he is just coming back from missing about 40 days. But Pete Alonso, 249, 811 OPS. I mean, fine. You know, I think we expected more out of Pete. We're just not getting it. Basayo signed a nice little deal. He's still young, but 256, 766, you've seen some promise out of him. I don't think we have too much to complain about Sammy, other than some things of just being 21 years old. But for the most part, Sammy shows promise in this game. Yeah, Lodi Tavares, right? I didn't even think Lodi was going to make the team out of spring training, and he had a nice start to his season. Now he's down to 247 and a 681 OPS, right? And he's still getting consistent playing time. Kalzer has looked better recently, but he's still down to a 696 OPS and a 228 average. I still like Kalzer, but look, this guy was a fifth overall pick, and just hasn't found his footing yet in his career. And we're in year 3. Blaze Alexander is probably the best player on the team right now, but he's just at a 774 OPS, right? 298 average, so he's not driving the ball a whole lot, but he's still getting on base. I mean, I don't think there's not a whole lot to complain about with Blaze Alexander. He's a fine little ball player, and you're happy to have him for what they gave up. But then you got Jackson Holiday, who's a 1-of-1, 202 average with a 677 OPS. Granted, he's still 21 years old. He's still the 10th youngest player in the league. I get it. But this guy was a 1-of-1, and you expected some pretty big things. You saw some other younger players come up and kind of hit the ground running and performed really well. And then you got Adley Rutschman, who's a 1-of-1. You know, what we looking? I mean, Adley's having an okay. What's he doing right now? Where's he at on here? Adley's at 252. It doesn't show him the OPS on this, but having a better season. I think Joe Singley's kind of turned his defense around a little bit, but good. A 1-of-1. You got O'Neal making a lot of money, who's just downright terrible. And you got Kobe Mayo, who was a 5th-round pick back in 2020, hitting 190, mashing lefties and whatnot. But, I mean, how many guys are on a roster just to hit lefties only? It's not many. Not many in baseball. Lane Thomas might be one of them. But, I mean, a guy you had huge expectations for. So, a lot of this falls on the players. They're not performing. And these are high round draft picks that are just not performing. So, I mean, can we blame the manager for them to stink? Sure. I feel like everybody right now kind of shoulders some blame. Can you blame the front office for assembling this roster? Yeah. But again, I mean, I just read you off how many guys are first-round picks or top 5-round picks. You ain't finding many teams in baseball that have that. Not many at all. Now, their later-round picks aren't really hitting. You know, Brandon Young, undrafted free agent. Trey Gibson, undrafted free agent. That's been your 2 best pitching prospects in the last 2 years. Not great. They've traded away some prospects. A lot of them get hurt. You know, Bradfield, Honeycutt, not very good. So this is where you're starting to blame the front office because the roster construction isn't just there. It's not there. And I think they got to make a change. I don't care who it is. I tweeted, I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's a player. I don't care if it's somebody in the front office. I don't care if it's the entire front office. Something has to give for the fans because tickets ain't cheap. They keep going up every single year. You know, we complain about it, but we still go because we're excited. We thought this team had a lot of promise, and it's just the same as last year. Again, we went through 2 different managers last year. You heard the same kind of things in the press conferences. Now you're under 3rd manager. Same things in the press conference again. So at some point, it's got to be on the players, right? They got to they got to pull the jock straps a little bit tighter and play baseball, in my opinion. Because right now, I think they're just content having a job, whether they do it good or not. And I'm not saying that they're lazy, and I'm not saying they're not putting the work in because they obviously are. I mean, these guys are spending hours before a game Probably, honestly, they're getting their work in before the beat writers even get there, so you don't even hear about it. They're putting it in, they're trying, and it's just not working. So something collectively is failing from the top on down. How do you fix that? Does firing one guy do anything? I don't know. I really don't know. I think the whole system, I mean, think about it. You're in year 8. The whole system, the whole organization is built around this one philosophy. So just letting go of one guy, I don't think changes a damn thing, right? But you can't make wholesale changes in the middle of the season either. Like, I just think the Orioles are kind of just where they are, and they're going to be there for the rest of the season. And then maybe a change will happen. But I don't know. Let me get to some of you guys' comments here. I apologize that I ranted for so long. There's a lot of these, and I know you guys are ready to talk about some stuff. When is it finally time to cut ties with Elias? Look, Rubenstein has to send a message somewhere. Whether that be Mike, I don't know if it's going to be Mike in the middle of the season. I don't think Mike is going to cut ties with anybody that he's kind of put into place because, like I said, the whole thing was built around his system and these people. Tough call, man. Tough call. But I mean, things aren't looking good. There's a disconnect somewhere. They're sellers right now, 1,000%. You gotta be. You're falling 9 games under 500 at this point. Yeah, you kind of have to face reality eventually, right? Right, there you go. So Blaze Alexander starts the 9th inning here with a base hit. Holiday pops up. Henderson pops up. We're not even shocked at this point. Like, there's supposed to be 2 of your premier players, and they can't come through. Like, it's just how the season is, man. British Raven says, I probably should stop staying up this late for a ball team. It's 2:12 in the morning, and I'm mad. Dude, I wouldn't be up. The chef says, thank God for the upcoming Ravens season. Look, the Ravens broke me first. So, like, I'm excited because something new came in, and it changed the whole guard. But, like, the Orioles just got something new in and changed the whole guard. So, like, at this point, like, for the Ravens, I'm glad football's back, but I have zero expectations for the Ravens. The Orioles have broken me that bad that I have no expectations whatsoever for football. It's crazy, isn't it? And then Taylor Ward pops up. Fantastic 9th inning there, boys. Fantastic. Gunner's so broken, Mike Elias needs to go, and so does Craig. Like I said, I don't know how you blame Craig at this point, just because it's been the same things over and over and over. Could he have fixed some things? Sure. But it just seems like that whatever he has to try to fix, it's just unfixable because he's a third guy. It's just unfixable. I don't know what else to even say. Gunner has been looking a little bit better the last couple games, a little bit more comfortable. And they've been saying for a while, like, he's close. He's almost there. So, like, eventually you had to take their word for it, and he was going to make it, right? But it's been ugly, man. It's been ugly. When you realize they haven't been 500 since 429 and the Orioles be 500 in the regular season, you start thinking about the playoffs. Look, you get to the playoffs at any point, any way you can in any sport because crazy stuff happens. I mean, how many times the NFL has a wild card snuck in and all of a sudden going and won the Super Bowl? The Ravens being one of them. So anything can happen when you get to the dance. But, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. I would love for them to play better baseball and be above 500, but the goal is always just to get to the dance. Always. Even if you sneak in, I don't even care. If anything good comes of this, is Elias losing his job? James, I don't know, man. I really don't know if he does. I just feel so numb to it now. Like, I used to get mad. And because I would spend a lot of time like covering the Orioles and try to being as positive as possible. And I'd get ridiculed for it a little bit for being overly positive. And I'd look at a score sometimes and I'd see them losing. I'd be like, God, like, I got to go face the music now. Like, I keep telling people they're going to be good and they're not. Now I'm just like, yep, they lost again. Yep, they gave up 5 runs before the 4th inning. Like, here we go again. Like, it sucks, man. I blame Paul for you being broken. You spend too much time with him on Sundays. Now, Paul's been great this year. Paul's been great. It ain't Paul's fault. We stink. We stink, man. I've seen enough of Tavares and Ward. I feel the same way. I feel the same way. This team's forcing a rebuild sooner than expected. You can't go through a second rebuild with the same regime. No one in the history of baseball has ever done that. Like, you cannot do it again. Like, you have to start over completely. But that's the thing, too. And I think if you fire Mike, you do have to clean house almost entirely for at least people that are making decisions. And then you have to start all over. And that will put you into a rebuild. And I know none of us want to admit that. I mean, having Adley and Gunnar and Pete and stuff on the team next year, Holiday too, this will put you into a rebuild. And we may have to endure another year or two of bad baseball. But a GM on the way out is not going to keep a semi-decent team for the next guy. I mean, Dan Duquette did, and he blew the whole team up before he had to go out. So, I mean, we're looking at the same thing if Mike goes. That's the downfall. That's the downfall. How do we go from yelling at players for messing up a play and personal accountability in spring training to the players are struggling because people say mean things? A lot of that is speculation, is that term of noise. And I think it's just fans just assuming that people read their tweets. The team in the front office reads people's tweets. I mean, they actively chat with me. They chat with others on Twitter and whatnot. They do read things. I don't think players are really taking too much into consideration. If you ask me, it's agents who are trying to tell them to do different things. Friends, family, maybe, hey, do this, do that. Go get that bag. I think there's a lot of extracurricular talking about contracts and whatnot. Mainly a la Scott Boras. I mean, Scott Boras owns half the freaking team. Literally half the team. So, I mean, and what he says goes. Like, he literally controls baseball. To me, the outside noise is Scott Boras. I know fans think that it's probably from them, but and some of it might be, but I doubt it. I really do doubt it. But who knows? Who knows with this team, honestly. Thing about being flashed is it doesn't take too long. You see too much and you blink your eye. Right. Yeah. We should have given Buck Showalter to the keys of his kingdom. I don't think Buck would have done a damn thing here. Flat out. I do not think Buck Showalter would have been the guy for this job. I don't. The game is kind of passing him by with how front offices run baseball now, and Buck wouldn't have fallen in line. This is the reason why he hasn't gotten hired or even interviewed anywhere, because people run baseball differently now. They want the younger guy. They want analytics. They want this. They want that. None of the older guys besides Derek Shelton even got hired this year, even had an interview this year. Like Don Mattingly couldn't even find a job for 3 months, but now he's an interim guy and he's doing well. But these teams want young guys, man. They want young guys. And I don't think Buck would have made a single difference here. He'd probably have the same record. He probably would have yelled at a couple guys, but if what we're picking up and what's being put out there by the managers, it don't matter if you yell at them. They're going to not perform. Right? So I don't think Buck would have made a single difference here at all. Personally. Here's an interesting question. I posted on my YouTube channel. If your favorite team, in this case, the Orioles, didn't exist or left town, who would I be a fan of? I mean, me personally, I like the Marlins. I like their logo. I like their colors. I also like the Rockies for some reason. I don't know why. But for many of years, I'd be miserable if I rooted for another team. Doesn't matter. Now, granted, I mean, the Marlins are playing well this year. But I mean, I'd have a pretty miserable team regardless. And same with football. I like Carolina Panthers, and they're pretty miserable too. So I'm just stuck in misery when it comes to sports teams for some stupid reason. How's it Taylor Ward has forgot to hit home runs, the one he missed in his first at bat tonight? Taylor has 0 home runs at home this year. I think he has all 5 of them on the road. He can't hit here. I don't know. I think the wall has probably mentally messed with him, kind of like it did with Ryan Mountcastle. It has probably screwed him, and we're just here to kind of deal with it. I'm hurting their feelings. I'm trying my best not to. Like I said, I communicate with people around the team, on the team, and whatnot in the front office. I don't want to sit here and just point the finger, blaming anybody, but a massive change is needed. It's needed somewhere, somehow, because we deserve better. We pay money to watch this team. We deserve to be excited fans, to go to the ballpark, to want to go to the ballpark, to want to turn on MASN every night and watch them. We deserve that. And that's kind of where I stand on it. We just have money players we can count on. Right. You're supposed to be able to count on a bunch of them. The problem for Leote is he's been needed way more than he should have been. He was supposed to be exactly. And a lot of that was because of injuries. And there's no way around that sometimes, but you probably see less of them. I shouldn't even say that. Tyler O'Neill's supposed to be doing a job, and he's not. And Leote has to play because of it. Now, even with Dylan Beavers back, you should probably see less of Leote Taveras. But you're not, because Tyler O'Neill is just sucking a whole bunch of money up out of this team, and they won't let him go. Is that a move that needs to be made? Obviously. But it's not my money, right? I'm not I can't sit here and tell you that, hey, if I paid $16 million or something, I want to just flush it down the toilet. I mean, you still owe him 20-some million for the next 1.5 seasons. Me personally, I wouldn't want to flush that down the toilet because that's my money, but it's easy for me to say Rubenstein needs to do it. But yeah, they need to do it. Yes, I blame the overall vision of the GM and how we can't build a team that's a legit contender. And this is the bad part, because I think they really, really tried this year. And obviously they still missed out on a frontline starter. From what I was told, they gave it a really good effort. They just lost in free agency on Schwarber and on Ranger Suarez. But I was excited for Helsley. I was excited for Pete. I was excited to bring Kittredge back. That was kind of about it at that point. But they gave me some excitement, right, to make me think that this team was supposed to be pretty good. Like, I expected a fairly decent jump out of Holiday. I expected Gunnar to get healthy and look good again. I expected Adley to come back and play better. I expected something out of Mayo. He's had his run. Now, he's given you something against left-handed pitching, so I shouldn't say it like that. But I expected more out of him against righties. I haven't gotten what I expected. And I think you all probably could say the same way. You haven't got what you expected this year. Kobe was the 4th-round pick. Ballmer was the 5th. Are you sure? I thought Kobe was the 5th-round pick that year. That was 2020, right? I'm pretty sure Kobe was the 5th. Because Jordan was, and then was Hudson Haskins was the 2nd. Servideo was the 3rd. Yeah, he was 4th. You're right. Carter Ballmer. Yeah. So Carter Ballmer, the guy who's pitching for the Rangers right now, right? Yeah, that guy, the 5th-rounder. Name one team this thing excels at. Pissing their fans off. Oh, man. One team they excel at. Surprisingly, they hit relief pitching pretty well. They were last time I looked at it, so I'm about to look it back up again just to make sure that I'm not blowing smoke up your butt. But yeah, they were hitting relief pitching well. Let's do this. Pitching opponents Baltimore as a relief pitcher. And we'll just look for this season. Let's see where they're at here. Let's do MLB. So yeah, relief pitchers have a 4.29 ERA against them, giving up 42 home runs, 148 walks, 3.16 WOBA. So they hit relief pitching fairly well. Starters, horrible. What are my predictions of the deadline for the Orioles? I think Cano's traded. I think Adley's traded, even though it doesn't help the team next year. If Mike Elias is out, he's trading Adley Rutschman. I hate to even admit that. Taylor Ward will be gone. Trevor Rogers. Sorry. That's how flustered I am. Trevor Rogers will be gone. Don't be shocked if Colton Cowser's gone. And look, I know he's got a lot of time on his deal, but he's a pretty decent left-handed hitting outfielder. He plays a very good outfield, in my opinion. Center field is a pretty down position right now across the league. And I think somebody calls for Colton Cowser. And I think he'll fetch something halfway decent. Again, doesn't help your team in 2027 whatsoever. But I do think that a team is going to say, like, hey, I need something, and I think Colton could provide it. And I do think Colton could be a quality baseball player if he did leave here. And I hate to even admit that. He's already a quality baseball here. we haven't seen his potential yet, but I think another team could potentially unlock it, especially having the control. He could fetch something halfway decent. He would be my surprise pick, to be honest. Time to draft pitcher starts this year with Gio. Fan KY, I keep saying if Elias is gone and when he knows he's gone, don't look for this draft to be that great. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't. So why don't we go get proven talent? We hoard those prospects and don't want to spend time. So we've traded over 20 top 30 prospects in 2022. We don't hoard too much talent. They've traded some for proven talent. I mean, Jack Flaherty didn't pan out. Corbin Burns obviously was great, but couldn't re-sign him. Cole Irvin was okay. He gave us 2 okay years, 2 pretty decent years. You traded a top 5 prospect for him, but he hasn't done absolutely anything. I mean, they gave up a lot for Shane Baz. They gave up a lot for Zach Eflin. I guess not a whole lot, but they gave up a decent amount. Nobody's really done anything that they traded away yet, except for Kyle Stowers, but he wasn't even in your top 30 at the time. DFA O'Neill sent a message. I don't even think the players would care. Like, I think they like him as a player, as a person maybe, but I don't think they care if they DFA'd him. I don't. I think Anthony Vila is getting replaced as the head of player development. Yeah, I would probably agree with that. That is possibly the issue. Too many top prima donnas that they treat with kid gloves. All we hear is excuses. It's possible, Mark. It's very possible. Very, very possible. Adley rest day. Right. It's been that way his whole career. It's been that way his whole career. You can't tell me that 3 different managers constantly want to give Adley Rutschman a rest day. And unless he's asking for it, which I don't think. I don't want to overthink. That's the problem. Is it just too many things line up for too many things to completely always be the same for me to think that it's a manager's problem. Didn't even wait for the game to be over. That's a sign of dejection. Exactly. I was ready to roll, man. It's bad when the only good thing Pete Alonso can say is at least I'm not a Met. I mean, he spent so many years there. I don't even think he cared at this point if they were bad. Thoughts on trading Gunnar and Alley to the Yankees and gut their farm like a fish? I don't see how that helps you win in the future. Unless you're getting Carlos Langrange. I probably just said that name wrong. And a couple other their arms. I still don't see how it helps you because then they're just going to sit there and beat you for 4 more years or 3 more years. I don't know. It's tough. Why can't you make wholesale changes? Dead serious. You could, but like in the middle of a season, like what are you going to replace it with? Especially right before the draft. You're a couple weeks away from the draft. If you made wholesale changes right beforehand, who's making those picks? Who's scouting those guys? Who's talking to people? Like you're going to really screw up the draft. And you might, I doubt it, but you might not sign some of the guys that you probably have talked to for a bit and wanted to sign and developed a good relationship with. It's a tough cookie. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over, and that's our lineup? Can't deny that one, huh? Sig has to go. I agree. If you only fire Mike, you got to turn the keys over to Sig. Right. He's the assistant GM right now. So if Mike goes anywhere, Sig takes over. Casuals will blame Trey instead of the organization. What do you expect from undrafted rookie? Yeah, I mean, he's just underdeveloped, honestly. He didn't have a whole lot of time in AAA. Excuse me. So he's kind of figuring it out here at the big league level. And Nunez was kind of doing the same thing. And he's shown glimpses, kind of like Brandon Young last year. He showed you some glimpses, but he kind of got hit around fairly hard most of the time. Do I think Trey Gibson can come back next year and perform? I do. He's got semi-decent stuff. He's just got to learn more. And sometimes, like when this team was supposed to be really good, you didn't have time for him to learn here. That's the problem. Taylor Ward should be traded tomorrow for something. I wouldn't hate it. Would you say development slowed down in 24 when Matt Blood got promoted to VP of Player and Staff Development? They haven't had too many guys pop since then. The drafts since then have been okay. Nobody's popped. I mean, the lefty from last year looks pretty freaking good. But I mean, yeah, for the most part, man, I mean, since 2024, they've had issues hitting in AA. They've had hitting issues in AAA, and that's a hitter's ballpark. They've had issues throwing strikes. They've had issues staying healthy. Like, they've had a lot of issues since 2024. Elias doesn't swing Gunner's bat or field his grounders. Maybe he should. Again, that goes back to you got to blame the players at some point because they're the ones that are out here. What is going on right now goes on the back of their baseball card. And I'm not sitting here saying like this is 100% their fault, but like some of this, like, dude, this is going on the back of your baseball card. This is going on Baseball Reference for the rest of your life. Like, at some point, you got to want to be better. And I'm not saying that they don't want to be better, but you just have to come out and just be better somehow. And it just isn't working out that way. Pocket Watch. Thank you, whoever got me to gift a membership. That was Charm City Entertainment. I think it was last show. You popped up on there. But yes, thank you to him for providing that for you. Thoughts on Albie yesterday, saying the players are being distracted by outside noise and he hopes they come in focused. That's his job to keep them focused. Yes and no. He's not a babysitter by any means. It also depends on what the noise is. Like, if it is social media, then yeah, that's one thing. But you're not gonna be able to like go tell a player like, hey, don't log into Twitter. Like, it just happens. I think Najee Harris today even talked about like his old teammates of the Steelers would run into the locker room at halftime and check their Twitter just to see who was talking crap about him. Directly talking to Patrick Queen on that one. But I mean, for the most part, I mean, does it happen? Sure. But if it's agent related or something like that, like, you can't block that noise out as a manager because they're always going to talk to their agents. You know what I mean? So it really, we don't really know 1,000% what the noise is. We can only just assume. So it's really hard to blame the manager for not being able to block that out, in my opinion. But I mean, he can only do so much, right? As a person, you're still going to go and do what you want to do anyway, you know? Teams loaded with below average to average position players, not a winning combination. And we didn't think that way. Like, me included, and I'm sure plenty of you, thought this team was going to take a step better than they were last year. Just hasn't, man. Just hasn't. We will at least make it past the second round of the playoffs. What year? I don't think it's going to be this year. I don't. I really don't think it'll be this year. You just let it all burn and go around and we can't make changes. Why let this fester? It's just, I mean, baseball is so hard. There's just so many, like, think of it like a vine. Like, it just keeps spreading and just going all over the place and kind of like that's kind of how a front office works. Is like, it starts, we'll call it a philosophy. Philosophy would kind of be like the umbrella. And then it just starts working its way down to this part, this part, this part. Everything has to work together, all to hit back that same spine on the first vine for everything to work. And when you pull one thing out of it, especially when it's all designed to work that way, just the next thing steps up and it's still the exact same thing because that's what they know. So if you make wholesale changes and kind of scratch everything, one, you don't have enough people to even do it. And two, it's just like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't. Nobody else in baseball has ever done it, right? They fired a GM. I mean, obviously, Angels just did it the other day, but wholesale changes, I don't think anybody's ever done that mid-season. It's just too much going on. Can you give a theory as to what is going on with Gunnar? I think Gunner's really pressing. He's trying to drive the ball, trying to do way too much. Gunnar plays with his hair on fire too much, and I think his emotions he lets get on him a little too much. I think he started the year really hot in the World Baseball Classic, and he just expected to come out this year and just light the world on fire, and he hit really well in the WBC, and it just, kind of started off slow for him, and I think he started trying too hard. And then, there's been that talk of this giant contract. The Orioles put the big thing on the board for him behind a scoreboard. he was supposed to be the guy, and it's just, I think he's just in his own head. And I think he's starting to relax just a little bit right now, and he's starting to play a little bit better baseball. But for the most part, I think it's all in his head. I still think that there's a good player in Gunnar Henderson's shoes. I really do. Just right now, it's just taking a really long time to find it. Poorly constructed roster needs a mix of guys. Everyone can't hit home runs. We need guys with speed. Exactly. You need guys that can play defense. And you do need guys that can get on base. When you got everybody swinging for the fence, man, eventually things are going to be not good. And we've seen it for a couple of years. Chantel, hello. How are you? The comments Tony Mansolino made about this team in the spring training are echoing much louder now. They are. Whatever happened to the Oriole way? I think the Oriole way died with the game changing. And you can almost say that about every single franchise out there. I mean, look at the Yankee way, right? They got more into analytics, more doing this, more doing that. And there's been a big argument with Posada about how terrible he was as a catcher, even though he says he can't watch today's game. Older players don't like today's game. More of the stat heads today kind of pick on the older players for having bad D-wars, stuff like that. I just think everything changed when more of the computer got involved. And I'm not saying that the computer is a bad thing. Obviously, I like stats. I'd love to know this guy's throwing this most of the time in an 0-2 count. Let me look for it. Not let me sit on it. Let me just keep it in the back of my mind and be ready for it. Still hunting the fastball, but if he likes to throw a slider 42% of the time in a 2-2 count, let me just remember that. I'm still sitting fastball. If I got to flick something off, I'm going to do that too. But I think some of it is used a little too much. Maybe, launch angle works. Hitting the ball hard does work. I just think some teams don't know how to communicate that, and then some teams do. And then those teams that do right now are the teams that are succeeding. But I do think that the Oriole way and then everybody else's way just kind of died with analytics. I'm using analytics as an umbrella. I still think it's good for the game and used in certain ways. Did Gunnar Soros turn down $400 million before this season? I didn't hear it was 400. I heard it was over 3, but it was last year. Boris, sorry. But yeah. Boris turns down everything, literally everything. 17,000 tonight is Tropicana. I'm surprised it had 17, to be honest with you. Gut wrenching. Yeah, that's what this team. But it's like we're numb to the gut wrenching feeling now, which is what sucks, right? We shouldn't be numb to it. Let's bring in Billy Ripken. I don't know if that would work out too well, to be completely honest with you. Analytics without fundamentals is a shit show, 1,000%. Analytics are good in my opinion. They're good, especially like I like to know. And this kind of started with the shift. This is where analytics started to kind of really come around, was the shift. This guy pulls the ball majority of the time. Let's put another guy over here to kind of defend it. This is when analytics starting to get really, really popular. But those kind of analytics are really good, in my opinion. You got to know how many times is this guy hitting the ball on the ground with a runner on base. And fun fact, Gunnar Henderson with runners in scoring position, hitting the ball on the ground 67% of the time. Way too high. But that's the kind of stuff that you want to know. Okay, he's hitting a lot of ground balls right now. I'm going to attack him up in the zone. Maybe down and in with a changeup. I'm going to get him to roll over a lot easier. I'm going to hit him with that outside corner fastball. Get him to roll over. Like, that's where analytics are good, because you can attack people a certain way. So they're not all bad. But I do agree, definitely need fundamentals, and this team lacks it like crazy. My theory as to why this team is so lifeless is the players Elias gives the finger to, Hayes, Mullins, Santander, O'Hearn. It's very possible. I mean, they haven't really won without those guys. And I think they expected to win without those guys, right? They looked at this crop of players coming up, the Kerstads, the Kausers, Mayo, Westberg, Gunnar, and they said, we have a solid core to replace this core here. Well, let's go ahead and get rid of them. Let's give these guys the keys to the kingdom, and they fell on their face. And as a GM, like, yes, you can blame him for that, but I also don't blame him because we all wanted to see what these guys could do in an everyday role. So that's where that's sometimes we make the wrong decision. And I think they may have been wrong decisions. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Let me skip through some of these here. Wow. That says, I'm crazy. I'm going to my third game in 4 days tomorrow. Man, good for you, though. Good for you. I mean, look, baseball is still a fun sport. And look, Chicago's playing good baseball right now. So hopefully the Orioles give you a competitive game to watch again. But you know you're getting something out of Chicago. So at least you'll enjoy something of good baseball tomorrow. So at that point, Elias won't be fired till after the draft because it's too late to find someone to take charge. I wouldn't say that it's too late to find somebody. Just like you're just going to find somebody who has the same mindset that he does because that's just how it was built. So at that point, like he's a pretty decent evaluator in my opinion. I don't know what's the right call. Just some kind of major shakeup is needed in my opinion. I really thought Pete would have been better. I bet you Pete would have said he thought he'd be better too. They cut Kyle Gibson early last year for how much they can cut O'Neill. I think they really think O'Neill's going to figure it out eventually. I really do. I don't know why, but they've held some leashes pretty long on some guys. They have. Right. I'm sorry about to be honest. Exactly. That was the time. We've always been a team that has always had a captain, a shortstop, and center field. I think we need that formula back. Our outfield's so crowded, no one else is a leader. Feels like yes. Yeah. You always want to be strong up the middle. Catcher, shortstop, center field. And I think with Cowser struggles for a bit, him not kind of really taking over that role, kind of set that back. Gunnar getting hurt and then not playing well, kind of set that back. Adley went through 2 years of really struggling and kind of getting hurt. That set that back. So, I mean, they had nothing behind that either. It's just been a recipe for disaster, honestly. Sean, I appreciate this. If you're new to Pigtown Sports, like the stream, subscribe to the channel, provide the best Orioles coverage in Baltimore. And on YouTube, the Orioles have sucked the life out of him, so sub. I appreciate that. But yes, at least like the stream. I would appreciate that. We got 33 likes right now, 118 of you watching. Let's try to get that to 50 tonight if we can. That'd be awesome. Let's see here. Mike Elias is a glorified scout, way too risk adverse, especially when there's a legit opportunity. He would make an excellent financial advisor for retirement plans. That's a good way to look at it. One thing I excel at, Mark, sending timely emails reminding us to buy season tickets to waste our money on the That's a funny one right there. I like that, Judge. That's a funny one. How many years do you have to hear your GM say, I tried, sorry, but I got Charlie Morton? I mean, it's fair. It's fair. And I didn't hate Charlie Morton coming in. He was coming off a pretty good season. Obviously, I hated the age, but coming off a pretty decent season with Atlanta, he pitched okay against some winning teams. There were some things to like about Charlie, but it's the same with Kyle Gibson. It's the same with Chris Bassett. Eventually, they're going to hit that wall, and somehow, some way, it always seems to hit that wall in Baltimore only. But that's the part that sucks. To me, the culture around the team where mediocrity has been accepted by the manager, not by benching, moving down a lineup. Those everyday players see this, no accountability. I think that there's a lot of truth to that, Mark. And it's been that way for a couple of years. There's been no accountability for a while. We've heard about some grumblings in the clubhouse with younger players kind of doing what they wanted, acting out of line and whatnot. Nothing ever happened. You at least heard something this year with some things going on with Basayo. He did get benched for a couple games and whatnot. To me, that was good to see, but there was no consistency with it. So, yeah, I agree with you. And we just hit 50 likes. You guys are outstanding. Appreciate every single one of you guys. That's awesome. Thank you very much. We won't win any games if all those guys are traded. I know. But We traded a lot of guys last year, and the team started to play well. Why? Well, because young guys want a shot in this league. They want to stick. So I don't know. Maybe you bring Kerstad up and give him a shot. Maybe you bring Jeremiah Jackson back up and give him everyday playing time. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I'm broken, right? I'm broken. I don't know anymore. I am broken. Trading Adley would absolutely destroy this organization. 1,000% it would. 1,000% it would. It doesn't help your team next year. But if you're Mike Elias and you know you're getting fired, why wouldn't you try to do that? That was the guy you started with. That's the guy you went with, right? That's what scares me. That's what scares me. What did I just do? I think I just deleted my background. That sucks. Oh, got it back. Yes. The Orioles are prepping for an Adley exit. Don't tell me that, Mark. I don't like it. I don't like it. This team is filled with entitled iPad generation kids. Pout when things don't go well. Pete isn't the tough love leader they need. I think Pete's decent, but I don't know. I mean, if they are entitled, like you say they are, I don't think anybody is coming in here and fixing that at all, in my opinion. It just sucks. I think the most annoying thing from tonight was Ben and Kevin advertising a new sandwich from the ballpark after they gave up 7 runs. That's the bad part about it. Like their job, they have to stay positive, for the most part. Like that's their job. And they can't come out and start, just crapping on the team live on air. Like no matter how bad it gets, they have to keep doing this all the time. They can't get broken, right? And that's tough mentally for them too, because they have to sit here and try to feed us stuff to hear and listen to that's probably controversial at this point. They don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear it. They probably don't even want to say it, but it's just that's the nature of the beast right there. It sucks. Will the Orioles draft another outfielder in the first round this year? Yeah, probably. Brian Baker, 21 saves, making me sick. I mean, Brian's always had pretty decent stuff. It's just the Rays fix everybody. I'm not too shocked about that at all. Had someone from the org tell me one thing that irritates them is how these young guys are all married and go right home to their wives, no beers after the game with the boys, no real talk about their play. I think that's all around baseball nowadays, Judge. That's pretty much all around baseball. I mean, I played in 2010, and it was kind of like that. I think the only thing different from then was we would all go fishing, but we would leave the ballpark pretty quickly, and we were out on the lakes pretty fast fishing. So that's kind of normal nowadays, I think. But most guys do get there early too. So, you got to think of a 7 o'clock game. They're getting there close to 12 sometimes if you're getting early work or if you're hurt and you're in the training room and whatnot. So it's a long day because you're not getting out of there at almost 10. It's a long day, but it just depends. Nats fired their player, president of baseball operations before the draft. They did. But they knew they were going in a different direction, and I don't think the whole thing was built around one guy like it is here. There's not a million little trees bringing off one branch here. So that's why I think it's a little harder here right now. Somebody else did too recently, and I can't remember who it was. I don't see Elias gone yet, but I do see him restructuring the player development staff. Is Schilt not an option to move into that area? Do you think he wants to manage again? I don't know if he wants to manage again. It's pretty much why he retired. Charm City coming in with another 5 gifted. Thank you, dude. We got Kevin Wilson. You got Sean Whipple. You got Alaskan, three per center. And is that it? Eric Peters and Izana. You guys are getting, a gifted membership. Thank you, Sean. I truly appreciate that, man. I bet we lose Rodgers in free agency too. Even need more pitching, and our current GM will somehow say he tried and missed out. It's very possible. Remember the never lose attitude when the young prospects came out just a few years ago? Well, it's gone. That's what sucks, man. That's what sucks. Like, I myself was so excited for a lot of these guys. Like, they showed a lot of promise. They played really well in the minors. They came up. Everybody kind of starts slow for us, which I would love to know why. But then kind of caught on fire pretty quickly. looked really good. I mean, you looked at Gunnar, you looked at Adley, you looked at Jordan Westberg, and you were like, dude, the future looks so good. And then injuries just decimated him. And it's still decimating him, honestly, in some way. Drew Burris, the outfielder from Georgia Tech, seems to be a favorite pick at 7. Yeah, whatever now. Whatever now. If the Orioles trade Gunnar and Adley, I'll find another team to root for and burn all my Orioles stuff. That would be the biggest slap in the face in the history of this franchise. I'm not disagreeing with you. Not disagreeing with you at all. I really don't know what ownership is doing, if they even care. It doesn't seem like it. Time for a change. When is enough enough? Numbers don't lie. Downward spiral for years. You hit the nail on the head there, Chad. And that's kind of why I'm at. This is where I'm at. Like, I can only be so positive and try to make things that they're not for so long. It sucks. Like, every day I'm searching for something on Baseball Savant, Fangraphs, Baseball Reference, anything that I could, for the most part, I would say 90% of the time, to find something positive about somebody, whether that be like, 2 weeks worth of games, a month, something, a small sample size, something positive to tweet every single day. And it's tiring, man. It's really, really tiring digging down into the weeds all the time instead of just being like, hey, we're in first place. Like, let's go, but it's mentally draining, man. It's draining. You don't have to completely sell every player to get a new GM. No. I'm not saying sell every player. I'm saying they have to get rid of the whole front office. Like, everything around Elias is all tied back to like this philosophy. Not every player, but I think they do get rid of a bunch of players. If Mike knows he's on the way out, I think he picks the phone up for quite a few players. Now, granted, some of those might get overruled, but I think he's going to try if he knows he's on his way out, which sucks. Doing the Lord's work. Thanks for my continued support of the fans. This is tough, man. It's tough for me. It really is, because I don't like being negative too often. I've built relationships with the team, with some of the coaches, some of the players. I don't want to get on here and just say like everybody sucks and get rid of them all. Like, it's tough for me, but I'm a fan too at heart. I'm a fan. I was born and raised here. I've always been a fan. I got the privilege of playing in their system for a year. I'm always going to be a fan, and I want to see this team win a championship. And I think I'm ready for something. I've watched stars leave this team forever. I'm 40, never seen a World Series game. If they fire sale, I might be done. I might be with you. It's tough for me to admit that, but I might be. I don't know. I really don't know. At this point, do I see a better alternative? No, I don't. I've been telling myself, yeah, there's a better alternative to just start winning, but they haven't started winning. So I don't know, man. They'll win tomorrow night. They'll pull us all right back in, right? They'll probably win like 12-3, right? They'll pull us all back in. Oh, we turned a corner. At least they'll pull me back in. Do you think if they fire one of the coaches, it might light a fire on the team because it did for some of the teams this year? I don't know. They're immune to it, in my opinion. Like, you've been there and you did that. And then you traded away some of the other guys. Like, do I think it helps at this point? I really don't know. Gunnar just needs to be put in his place. He's not the savior. That would be a good start, in my opinion. Put Gunnar at third base. That, you want to shake something up? Shake that up. In my opinion. That's the only thing you really can shake up player-wise. Cut Tyler O'Neill, move Gunnar to third. Does it really fix a whole lot? Do we have anybody better at shortstop? I don't know. I really don't know. But you want to shake something up. There you go. At this point, how do you bring back Mike Elias for year 9 and you don't? If you have another losing season, there's absolutely no way you can. I'm glad he turned it down. It would have been a horrible deal. Yeah. I agree. And look, it's not just the big league team either. It's AA has struggled for a bit to get on base. AAA has struggled for a bit to get on base. They hit well. They just don't get on base, if that makes sense. Like when guys are on, they finally hit. But like every time you see a highlight, so-and-so hits a home run in AAA or Ethan Anderson hits a home run in AA, right? The score, it's always like 7+ or whatever to nothing or like 2, right? We're always getting blown out in all these highlight videos. So like pitching obviously is not developing correctly, or the way that they try to develop it where they only go a couple innings here and there and then use 5-6 guys a night. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know, but anytime you see a highlight, the scores, it's always lopsided. I just ordered a City Connect Alvarez 55 jersey. Not sure why. I have a Hyde number 18 military jersey. I guess I enjoy frustration. Man, that stinks. At this point, you just got to order one with your own name on it. Ahern's the only one I still see playing good from that bunch. Right. And not too many people that have left here have played well. For the most part, everybody that's left here has not done a whole lot. For the most part. Obviously, there's always an outlier somewhere. Ahern and Stowers being one of them. Even Stowers is kind of back down to earth, but I think we all knew that Ryan Ahern was a pretty quality baseball player. But would I take Pete Alonso over him? Yeah. Yeah, I think I would. But I don't know. Fell in love with these guys from mid-24 to through 25. Exactly. They gave us a lot of fun in 23 and in the first half of 24. And it's hard to drop that love for them. Send Mustard down to AAA. There you go. They sent somebody on a rehab. Was it? Who went on a rehab assignment? That was Mustard. Mustard went on that rehab assignment and came back, started winning a little bit. Let's see. Kim said, just saying hi, good stream. Too deflated to complain. I did enough of that on Twitter. I appreciate you stopping in. Let's look at the bright spot. If we trade Adley, we'll get a nice return. The Pirates selected Henry Davis 101 and got nothing. I mean, that's fair. Who was the other catcher that went pretty high that hasn't done a whole lot since? It was like 3rd overall. I know when I was with the Marlins, they spent 5 straight years using a 3rd round or higher on a catcher, and not one of them panned out. I think the only one that ever panned out was Chris Hatcher. But I want to say he was like a 2nd or 3rd round pick, but he only panned out in the Dodgers as a bullpen pitcher. None of their big league catcher or none of their catchers ever made the big leagues the years that I was there, which is crazy. I mean, there was a lot of straight years of just all catchers and just none of them worked. That kind of stuff happens, man. That kind of stuff happens. Bottom line, the players acquired during the Elias rebuild who are appointed superstars before they played 1 inning in Major League Baseball aren't as good as advertised. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. But I will say, to kind of just counteract that just a little bit, it's not like Mike Elias was propping these guys up. These were baseball heads outside of Baltimore that were propping these guys up. So not all of that gets blamed on Mike. I mean, same with the prospects, like everyone around baseball had Kobe Mayo ranked at, high, Heston Kjerstad high, Jackson Holliday, the number 1 overall prospect. So like that wasn't Mike Elias like paying people to say it. Like these were baseball people saying that stuff, and they just haven't panned out. It's tough to blame one person for that. L Train says, what's the point of having Elias for another draft? We'll just flood the organization with more left-handed platoon players. You got a point, man. You got a point. O's need to go to Cincy and get their head back in the game. Do you think it's too late, Mark? I think we're getting close to being too late. Close. If not already. The 2 playoff sweeps crushed this team and maybe their mental ability to win. Maybe, man. Maybe. I'm right here with you. Been a supporter of Mike Elias, and I believe a change is necessary. I'm not giving up. The changes are needed. That's exactly how I feel. I'm not giving up on this team. It broke my soul. At this point now, it's just like, I'm still going to cover the team. I'm still going to do my podcasts on Sunday nights and whatnot. I'm still going to try to find a way to tweet things out positive about this team. Hopefully they give me a lot more positive going forward, but I'm broken, and I'm ready to see something to get these guys back into a winning way. That's where I'm at. Pikachu says, I'm just lifeless. The writing has been on the wall for a while. I think about how my life would be different if I was raised a Phillies fan instead of an Orioles fan. I live closer to Philly than I do Baltimore or Cy. That's tough. It really is. It really is. Because, I mean, the Phillies, for a while, were really good, and then they went through their patch where they were bad, and, I mean, they've been really good for the last, 7 years, 8 years? I mean, it's been fun to root for them, but I definitely get it. It sucks. Honestly. I understand it takes 2 teams to trade, but Elias has waited too long to do something, and he's been sitting on his hand, and we needed a bullpen arm 3 weeks ago. And that's the thing is there's no teams were trading pitching 3 weeks ago. That's the problem. There was no reason to. Adley has 1 year left on his contract. They aren't signing him soon. What choice do you have but to trade him at the deadline next year? Next year is for sure, but I think this year you get more out of it. It's a tough call though. Just a few weeks ago, they were 2 under 500 in the midst of the toughest schedule. Let's rip off 5-game streak. This is true. They could get back. They could. At this point, they just got to do it. I mean, we've been trying to give them life and do anything we can this whole time. It just ain't working. Can't put Mayo anywhere but on the chopping block. The dude crushes lefties. Like, there's a spot somewhere for him, and a team will pay a lot for one guy to hit left-handed pitching. I promise you that. Because you think about it, every team in the American League that's really good, they all have a dominant lefty at the top of the rotation. So you bring in somebody who can mash lefties, people will pay a premium for that. Tomo has pitched okay. He definitely has. He pitched a heck of a lot better than I expected being in Colorado, that's for sure. I mean, they're not in an easy division either, and the ball flies at her, and he's pitched okay. You got to give him a lot of credit. Joey Bart, yes. Joey Bart was the other catcher that went high. Didn't do too much. Will Creed Williams ever get a shot with us or lose him in the Rule 5? I bet you they likely lose him in the Rule 5. Would be my guess. Singley told me they really, really love Ethan Anderson. And then a couple other guys. They like Creed, obviously. I just don't know where Creed lands in their likeness, if that makes sense. I wouldn't be able to rank him personally of how they like him. Get close to the end here. Why do you think the undrafted guys, Young and Gibson, look more MLB ready than the drafted ones? Honestly, I bet you they probably don't put them as many pitch counts. Like, they probably don't care about them as much. They do a lot with the drafted guys to kind of really baby them in the minors, which could be a problem. Maybe they don't baby these guys as much. I don't know. But they were also both pretty decent. I think Brandon was in the year that the draft got cut. So he was probably a draftable player, but the draft got cut. So they brought him in. Gibson, I believe, was supposed to be a really good pitcher, but got kicked off his college team. What was that? Liberty, I think it was, or Lehigh Valley, or Liberty, something with an L. Got kicked off the team, went undrafted, signed with the Orioles. Supposed to be a pretty good guy, so he could have been a drafted player, but I mean, it's objective though. Could picture this team winning 10 straight and going back to 500 and then lose the next 5. Never. Yeah, that would sum up the season, VT. That would sum up the season. Suck everybody back in and then poop on your pants again. You know, it sucks, but I think that's how and why they've broken so many of us. It's just the consistency just hasn't been there, and it sucks. Does Zerba make it to AAA at the end of the year? I probably, man. Probably. I'm going to be positive his turnaround starts tomorrow. Listen, now that I've done this, there's a high probability it was, because that just happens to me in my life. When I finally do break and say something, the complete opposite happens for a while. And then people just rush to the comments like, you idiot, blah, blah. So if that happens, bring it all on, because I just can't wait, because I'll be glad the team is winning. I don't care. I just want to see a winning product on the field, man. It's getting close to waving the white flag on the season. It's getting close. They're running out of time. But speaking of time, and there's 122 of you watching, and I'm extremely appreciative for that. 64 likes. So if you want to smash that like button real quick before you head out of here, I am going to hop off. It is 10:15. I got to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm already exhausted. You can probably see it in my eyes. I do appreciate every single one of you that came in and chatted with me tonight. We got 226 comments. You guys are fantastic, man. I love talking ball with you guys. It's just, I wish it was on better terms. I wish we could sit here and just spew out excitement about the O's being in first place or being a playoff team all the time. Hasn't been the case lately. Here's to maybe them proving me wrong after recording this and ripping some stuff off and getting back in the win column for us. But yeah, we're gonna keep our heads high here. I'll see you guys on Sunday night with Paul. If you don't have anything going on, come hang out with us. I know it's day after a holiday. Speaking of that, stay safe. 4th of July, don't drink and drive, call somebody, but have a good time. Stay safe, keep your fingers together, and I'll catch you guys on Sunday. Peace.